Welcome back to the deconstructed universe. So today, I had to just forego all the bells and whistles to an author dissects a narrative because this episode 4 of season 2, House of the Dragon, was insane. First of all, a lot of things happened, and at the same time, I'm shook. I've never been so shook before. Well, okay, I've been shook before, but if you've been a Game of Thrones watcher and a Game of Thrones reader, you've been shook before. George R.R. Martin has a way in writing his characters and his narratives and his plot lines in just a way that can basically change and flip things on a dime and shock and engage the reader and the watcher and the audience. So yeah, it was a pretty good episode. I have to give it an A, for it ate my heart. I was literally gasping and clutching my proverbial pearls because let me just say, they got Rhaenys. They got Rhaenys. As somebody who knows, it's been coming, I've known it's been coming, but to actually see it, to see something that's been talked about for so long, something that's been read about, something that's been anticipated for so long, and then to actually see it on screen, I was just oh, it was amazing. It was sad. It was really sad, and also I just saw that how Aegon is not at all prepared to be a king. They never raised him to be a king, and he has these mummy issues, he has these daddy issues, and he literally alienated his home base, which was his brother Aemond and his sister Helena, and Daron as well. He basically alienated them. When he was younger, he was so busy with Rhaenyra's children and picking on Aemond and just basically ignoring Helena and picking on her. We don't know about Daron. Bottom line is, this was supposed to be his built-in strong base from birth, okay? These people were blood, okay? They were blood, but they were blood, and they were basically had a built-in loyalty already, set to default, factory default, straight out of Alicent's, body. They're basically set to basically be Aegon's army, Aegon's supporters, Aegon's blood, Aegon's warriors, Aegon's political, shields and swords, and he alienated them. But we can't blame him too much because obviously, he was young, he didn't think he was gonna have the throne, and I think maybe psychologically he geared more towards Rhaenyra and her children because he thought, oh, if I was nice to them, if I like them a lot, if I'm close to them, my father will, like me and see me that way. But we also, Viserys basically used Alicent as a birthing factory for his children to make sure that he had a line behind Rhaenyra, and we saw how that all worked out. Now I have to say that I just can't even blame Aemond for being this way, because first of all, Alicent is his mother, Viserys was not there, is his father, and then his brother, his protector, the guy he was supposed to look up to when he was young, just basically picked on him and just basically made his life a living hell. So of course he will basically, when he gets the chance, just try to kill him. Basically that's what happened, try to kill him. But yeah, so we saw Aemond basically is every bit the Valyrian prince, but he's also crazy, which is insane, because I don't think he has, I don't know, maybe he has the Targaryen madness and it manifested in such a way that, this is how he's portraying it. But I love Aemond. I just think oh my gosh, he's just making a name for himself, and also I'm just oh no, you're supposed to be your brother's, sword, shield, protector. But obviously you never looked up to him. He's been you're the butt of his jokes. He makes your life a living hell. He has Helena, which I think maybe he's okay, that's a coveted place that he wants to be the king, and he doesn't have that because of Aegon, who never had to try for it. Basically he sees that this guy just gets everything that he wants, and here he is now. So we see all of that. We see Alicent, she got herself knocked up by Kristen Cole. So basically the same thing that she's been condemning Rhaenyra for, she's done. Apart from she's smart enough to drink the moon tea, because obviously she knows how that will look, but Rhaenyra wasn't smart enough to do that. Bottom line is, I don't feel sorry for Alicent, but I do feel she came to the realization in this episode that, you know what, it's war. Whatever Viserys wanted, it died with him. And that's what I was trying to say from the beginning. When kings die, oaths die with them. And it's very important to understand that. And yeah, it's a very, very good saying that I'm literally going to one day like write a book or a character based on that, because I just feel like that is such profound saying. It's so simple and it's so layered at the same time. Bottom line is, Laris comes and Laris is obviously like, oh girl, I peeked you, you got yourself in some trouble. So Alicent, we see she's nursing her miscarriage, her forced miscarriage, and yeah, she's kind of like in a sense of like trying to find out what this Aegon's dream was, and she can't find it. We see that she goes to, well, Aegon goes to her, and Aegon is like, what do you guys want me to do? And she's like, listen, all these men had to earn their seat. They had to earn where they are at. They had to fight for it. You know, you just came to it. Sacrifices were made, and you're in this seat now. You need to like step back and take a lesson from these men who know better. They've served 2 kings, from my understanding, some of them, and you know, basically you got rid of your hand, and me and your grandfather ruled when Viserys was ill, and you can't even just sit back and just learn. You're just rushing into things. What advice do you have to give? You have none to give. You have no experience. And he basically was like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you put me in this position. What do you want me to do? She says, do nothing. We see he gets drunk. He gets drunk, gets on Sunfire, and flies off to Rook's Rest, which is just like a bad idea. But it happens because earlier on in the episode, Aemond already told, you know, the council and Aegon that, hey, this is the plan me and Kristen have basically come up with. Aegon was feeling a bit not secure in his position already, and he was like, you guys have been making plans without me, you need to tell me what's going on, you know. And then basically Aegon doesn't know High Valyrian. He doesn't know High Valyrian. Well, he knows High Valyrian. He can understand it perfectly, but he can't speak it because he was struggling. I don't know if it was drug. I don't know what happened. Bottom line is, he was struggling to say that High Valyrian, and I would just laugh because, sidebar, everybody who knows me knows that I'm from Ugandan descent, so I speak Luganda. So in Uganda we have like different dialects. So we've got like Swahili, then we've got like Luganda, we've got like a lot of different languages, and it's my mother tongue. So I speak 3 languages, and yeah, I speak 3 languages. I'm fluent in all of them. It's just like I struggle with Luganda, just because like to make a sentence, I could feel his pain, because I was like, girl, he's literally looking for the words. He's trying to translate it from the common tongue to Valyrian, and he's trying to say it. And I was like, guy, I know you right there, because as somebody who speaks like 3 languages and somebody who has like a mother tongue of Luganda, be better difficult, you know. You know, be better difficult, or you know, oku having a magezi, or also gamba nawe. So basically you could see like what I'm saying right there, like a bit in Luganda. So I could see like why he was like struggling there, because like for me, like as somebody who speaks like 3 languages, it's just like, you know, I'm fluent in all of them. It's just like sometimes when I haven't been speaking them for like a long time, you know, it gets rusty. So I totally got where he was coming from. Now, he flies off to Rook's Rest. We see that Kristen Cole's leadership is basically, he's on a mission, he's got a plan, he hasn't told everybody, and Alicent's brother is just kind of being like cautious, and we can see that Kristen is just like on the, I've got a plan to do, I'm trying to make a name for myself, I'm trying to redeem my white cloak, and it's like, my guy, you cannot be redeemed. And I'm just like, why did they, out of everything, Kristen survives. Anyway, when the plan went awry, I could see like the fear in his eyes, because he was like, oh, jeez. And then just seeing Aegon fighting Meleys, it was just like, guy, you do not have the bandwidth or the skill to fight in this battle, because FYI, you're not fucking trained. Ooh, I swore. Sorry, forgive me. You're not trained. Second of all, not only are you trained, but you're drunk. You're basically drunk driving a dragon right now. Do you know what I mean? There's no way this is gonna end well for you. And then, okay, so we've got covered a bit of that. And then we see that, Rhaenyra's council is just basically eating Jace and Baela up to the point that Baela's like, I need to call my grandma. Well, she sent a raven to grandma and grandpa's and was like, Grandma, like, you need to come help. They're literally falling apart here and they're trying to feast upon our flesh. So like Rhaenys hops on, that dragon and, skirts over to Dragonstone. And she lands, and then, basically more councilmen fighting, where's Rhaenyra, blah, 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 blah. But before she did all that, she basically told Corlys that I know that you have these bastards out here, Adam and Ilyn. And I know people have told me that I'm saying Alan's name wrong. I'm saying Ilyn. But you gotta I like Ilyn. Adam and Ilyn. Okay? I'll try to correct myself, guys. But my accent, I'm running fast. And there's so many people's names to remember in this. And I'm just like, ugh. But basically Adam and Alan. She's like, I know you've been doing all this. And I think at that point, she saw that basically Corlys has these illegitimate sons. And she basically was like, okay, this is probably why you don't want to name our granddaughters your heir, because you've got these illegitimate sons over here that you probably want to legitimize. And she even says it listen, he saved your life and you have them hiding out of here. And then obviously Corlys goes into factory husband mode, who's being accused of having an affair, and is like, I don't need you to what is it? He said, I don't need you to judge me right now. I don't need you to lecture me right now. Is this what we're gonna talk about right now? He goes into ultimate husband mode, which is just something that every man, it seems, even in fiction, is aware of. It's just basically part of their their brain is wired. So we see all of that. We see Rhaenyra comes back and she's like, listen, I had to go see that basically me and Alicent were on the same page about this thing. I've tried to sue for peace. I've inherited so much peace from my father and King Jaehaerys before him, my grandfather. I had to see that if I was going to go to war, that, you know what, it was the only option available to me. And she was like, now I know. I can either die or I can basically be queen, and I'm going to fight for my right. And I was like, okay, girl, get it. That was literally what I was thinking. I was like, get it. And then this girl was like, I need to go fly out and on my dragon and pull up on Rook's Rest. And everybody in the castle was like, what? No, you cannot do that. And Jake's like, you can't do that. And then Rhaenys was like, yeah, I'll go. I was like, okay, whatever. So they sent Rhaenys, and then Rhaenyra has a conversation with Jason. She's like, listen, the prince that was promised, you need to know because you're my heir. So we get that. So yeah, it was a pretty intense episode, because I think also because we've had such episodes that have been laying the groundwork and just introducing us into the mechanics of setting war, organizing and mobilizing everything, and alliances, that it's good that we finally see the war finally picking up. And I think it's very realistic as well, because in real life war takes a long time to logistically handle. You need allies, you need to logistics, you need to plan. So I think in that sense it's all very realistic. So now we're gonna go on to Daemon. So this is the last part, and then we're done. Basically, Daemon is having a time of his life. He's on the worst mushroom ride of his life. I don't know what he's taken. I don't know if it's mushrooms. I don't know what he's on, some weed, whatever it is. He's smoking that first man smoking that first man tree narcotics, but we don't know what he's doing. Bottom line is he's having hallucinations. He can't sleep. He's seeing Rhaenyra. He's seeing Aemond. He is basically what the hell is going on here? He has a scene with basically Alyssa Rivers, and she reads him. fulfilled. She's like, you wanna be king. It must like really piss you off to see the girl that you bounced on your knee now turn around and, basically replace you. So yeah, we see that we get the Tullys, and Damon is like, you need to, can you believe this man? He literally goes to this 14, 13-year-old kid and is like, you need to basically smother your granddaddy. And he's like, what? I like my granddaddy. Like, he raised me. My father, like, died. And Damon is like, oh my gosh, like, you speak with his voice? And he's like, what do you mean he's still alive? And it's like, okay, well, I need people who can actually do something for me. So he basically sends Tully away. And then we get the Blackwoods. They pull up on Harrenhal, and in the meeting, Damon is all like seeing basically his past wife, his ex-wife. He's seeing Lena Valerian, and I have to say, I think Damon really loved Lena, because we ain't never seen him disrespect Lena the way that he's disrespected Rhaenyra. I've never seen him do that. We have never seen him do that, okay? And even in the books, it said that, like, he really loved Lena, but I think, like, on a personal level, my interpretation is that he used Lena as basically a stand-in until he could get Rhaenyra, and I think his emotions with Rhaenyra are very layered, and they all go back to Viserys and him being replaced, because he still thinks in his mind that if he hadn't been replaced by Viserys, he would probably be king right now. Well, he probably wouldn't, because obviously, like, Viserys ended up having a son. But bottom line is, like, he's very upset with Viserys, and everybody's been chosen over him by Viserys, even his niece. So, we see Damon, he looks at this woman, and it's like, he looks again, and it's not. He wakes up and he's got blood on his hands, and then it's gone. So we see that he's having a really hard time. Even Lara Strong is like, listen, Harrenhal is like cursed, okay? The first man, the children of the forest, it's cursed. It's built with weirwood trees. He's gonna have a hard time keeping it, let alone stay sane. And Laris is literally not bothered. He's not bothered at all about losing his stronghold. I don't know. This episode just was amazing. They got Rhaenys, and I'm just so upset about that. And it was so funny because in the middle of this dragon battle with Rhaenys and Aegon and Aemond, we saw that, basically Aegon was like, oh my gosh, thank God you're here, to Aemond, and Aemond just basically was like, Degars. And you could just see Aegon's face just fell. He was like, oh no. I think he saw oh my gosh, this dude just literally tried to kill me. And I was like, listen, what do you expect? You pick on your brother, you ignore your sister, pick on your sister, you basically decide to be a drunk, you take nothing seriously, and then bam, you're surprised when you're built in. Literally, these siblings of Aegon were factory reset straight out of the womb to be his biggest allies, his biggest political strengths, his army, his love, his family, and he literally disregarded them. And you can't even blame that on Alicent or Viserys. That's just an Aegon thing. He came out and was like, nah, I don't care about these people. Maybe he will outgrow it later on and he'll become wise. But bottom line is, we saw he failed. This is why I always say that Rhaenyra lost the war and Aegon won. But when it came to longevity, Rhaenyra really won. She really won because her blood ended up sitting the Iron Throne. Her blood didn't kill the Night King, but that was the start. But you get what I'm saying. So Rhaenyra was just basically, it was basically what it was. And I just have to say, honestly, this episode just helps us see the dynamics of the different siblings, and we see that, oh my gosh, Team Green is a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Now, I hope you enjoyed my ramblings, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also put in the comment section what you think is going to happen in the next episode. We can make our own theories and everything like that. Bottom line is, who was your favorite in this episode. I have to say my favorite character in this episode, has to be Bernice. Oh my gosh. She was like, she's always been on business, always pulled up on Maylis. Like, I feel like they did Bernice so dirty, like in the books, in general, in universe, because she is the rightful queen of Westeros. I think I'll stand and die on that ship. But bottom line is, Bernice, gangster, went out like a gangster. But it was also kind of really sad, because I feel like after Maylis died, she literally like just gave up, because you have to think about it, she has nothing to live for. Her children died. She outlived her children. She outlived her father, she outlived her mother, she outlived her cousins. You know, the family that she has is fighting, is divided. You know, she's alone. I can only imagine like losing all your children and then having to fight for the woman that you probably think killed your children and who did your children dirty, the man who did your children dirty. She only has her granddaughters left to her. And I think like in that moment after Maylis died, I think she was like, you know what, like it's time for me to go. She went out like a badass. And I have to say, like, it has to be Bernice. And also my VP for the episode has got to be that Maester that gave Alicent that moon tea, because he was up on game for that. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you put like some comments in the comment section, and please follow, because I love to talk about this more. And yeah, I'm going to be also analyzing Star Wars The Acolyte. So yeah, I'll catch you in that one as well, and make sure you comment down below who your OTP for this episode was. Mine was Bernice, guys. To the end of the video, and thank you very much for making it to the end. Make sure you check out Vertigo Honor Bound by Blood, the first installment in the Vertigo book series. It is set in 2095 at the heart of the Imperial Champion regime, where Emperor Gregory Champion rules over Earth and the colonies stretching out across the solar system, where there is a virus called the Omega virus that has mutated and changed the political landscape of Earth. This is a story about factions, about coming of age, about the importance of being firm in what you believe in a world where bloodlines matter. What faction are you?